Transparency versus the right to be forgotten. Blockchain has the potential to solve many of the transparency issues of current data storing solutions. But how does it relate to the ongoing debate about the right to be forgotten at an EU level? Reuben Portanier, Affiliation.
Good afternoon, everybody. I was given 5 minutes for this. It took me longer to propose to my wife, so I think it's going to be a bit of a challenge. GDPR and blockchain. It seems that the debate around both sort of new kids on the block seems to center around that there are certain incompatibilities. So we'll try and go through these points and try and assess whether in truth there are commonalities and whether there is a real conflict when it comes to GDPR. So we are now almost 6 months into the new GDPR regulation. The General Data Protection Regulation is an EU-wide regulation which each country is mandated to follow. And therefore, each company is also mandated to follow, whether they are EU-based or outside of the EU. Primarily due to the protection of the personal data of EU citizens. So the center is around the EU citizen. The whole scope of GDPR, when we had to see what there is here on the screen, seems to center very much on the same principles of blockchain, in truth, because the regulation is there to strengthen privacy. It is there to strengthen the protection of data. It is there also to give people more control to their data. And blockchain is, one of the key elements that actually empowers people to have control of what there is over the blockchain. However, there may be points of conflict between the EU's GDPR and what we're seeing has developed in terms of the blockchain technology. There is also a privacy regulation that is actually going to be issued at an EU level. There have been some delays in that. Some are arguing that the delays may be because the European Commission is actually trying to assess how it can encapsulate the concept of blockchain within the privacy rules. But that is a bit of a speculation. But again, there may be some difficulties over there. So one of the most critical and fundamental issues when it comes to GDPR is one of the rights that emanate from the law, which is that of the right of erasure, or better known as the right to be forgotten. As we know, blockchain is based on being immutable. So whatever is on the blockchain is irreversibly undeletable. So it's there on the chain and it's there forever. So over here you may see that immediately there is an immediate conflict. I will skip this because the principles are very similar to what we have on the concept of blockchain. And I probably also skipped this because everybody in this room by now, since this afternoon, started to learn a bit more of how the blockchain works. This is using the Merkle tree hash and how the hashing works on the blockchain. But there are certain GDPR questions that needs to be answered. And the most fundamental is, how can you accommodate the request by a data subject to delete personal data when you have an issue that data on the blockchain is not deletable? GDPR centers around these fundamental principles and rights, and they all center around the control of the individual to have on his personal data. So what are the possible solutions in trying to address the conflict between the fact that you have the right for erasure and what cannot be done on the blockchain? The first one is using an off-chain storage. So you're having data, personal data, which is stored on the off-chain and only having a link to the main chain, so that if there is a request for that data to be deleted, you just delete it from the off-chain storage. The other solution is the deletion of encryption keys, where by deleting the encryption key, you remove the reference to the personal data. The issue there, however, is that in reality, when you are deleting encryption keys, the data is still there. You just close the door, but what is in the room remains in the room. Pseudonymization is another technique, which is basically coupling off-chain storage and the deletion of encryption keys. Again, over here, there is the issue that the data may still be traceable from a GDPR point of view. Last example of how data could be deleted at the request of the data subject is by using private enterprise chains. So here, having a small group which has access to that particular chain, and thereby minimizing the risk that there may be a data breach of that personal data. However, it's a minimization principle. It is not a deletion principle. So from a GDPR standpoint, it is still not compatible. We just need to keep in mind that GDPR is a regulation. It is here to stay. It was designed to be platform neutral. However, it wasn't designed keeping the blockchain technology in mind. So it was designed based on the legacy systems. So here the challenge is, how can blockchain technology manage to address the situation whereby the law is saying something, but the technology has a direction towards going to a decentralized environment? Thank you very much.